We are on. Greetings. Welcome to another Komodo Pioneers Podcast. Di Giuliano here with Mylo of Komodo Pioneers. Mylo, hello.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for what you're doing with Komodo Pioneers and for Komodo in general, and for having me, because it was also your idea to invite Alright onto Komodo Pioneers Podcast and have a conversation with him about what's going on, what he's doing, and the like. So that's what's going on right now. We've got Alright here as well, tester Komodo team, and he's been doing some heavy work here. Alright, how's it going?
How are you? I'm doing well.
You're doing well indeed. You're doing a lot of work, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're doing testing work. How long have you been doing that?
So I got hired 4 months ago at Komodo Platform, but I've been doing stuff like by myself for just getting to learn the Komodo tech for much more than 4 months.
So you've been playing around. You've been playing around with Komodo tech, doing stuff, and you mentioned you found a couple bugs or whatever.
Yeah, that was probably why I was hired. Yeah, I found a couple bugs previous to me being hired. Is what I mean.
Yeah, Giuliano, we've prior to getting really busy. Alright Tech gave me access to one of our notary nodes who was not the notary node operator at the time. He's from the A team. His name is Black Joker. He had a mining pool for the chips project. And this is when I was still exploring bits and pieces within Komodo, and Alright said, hey, in a conversation I've told Black Joker since, Black Joker's got a mining pool if you want to test it out, blah, 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 blah. And we got chatting, and that was months ago when there was still some mining rewards to be had for the Chips project, which is the poker game, decentralized poker, which Komodo's involved in as a side project, because the philosophy is that with decentralized poker, you can solve a lot of problems, and it's a complex problem to solve. We can solve that openly. We can solve many other problems that are much simpler. And that's how I met Alright, essentially, online. And we've had a couple of team meetings, and he's made an epic document, which we're probably going to talk about. It's about asset chains, and this is the whole reason we're having it.
That's right. That is right. And let's talk about this. And asset chains is something that I am needing to learn a lot about, of course. And so is everybody. I mean, asset chains is huge. It is involved in the scalability stuff, in the interoperability stuff, and in general, just in the building out of the whole ecosystem. And then beyond that, based on a couple of other things that are going on, it goes even way beyond just simple asset chains. But so we wanted to talk about this. It's exciting. What excites you about this, Mylo, before we...
Yeah, if you just in the left-hand menu there, you can see the menu above that says asset, creating a new asset chain. Left. Yeah. Yep. So this is the start of it, really. This is where you create your own blockchain. No other dependencies. If you scroll down, there's one command there. As an example on this page, sorry. It's D minus AC name one rare supply your rewards. Okay, it's a one-line command. That's an example of starting your own asset chain. These are all examples. That's how easy it is once you've got Komodo up and running. And there's a number of tutorials online. And basically, you have 2 nodes, and you've got your own custom blockchain. Doesn't rely on any third parties and many parameters.
Okay, Mylo.
Yeah, just on the left. Yeah.
Sorry. So what I'm understanding from this is we're gonna hear from Alright here, but I just see that this is stuff that people can use in order to just start creating these independent blockchains, and this has been assembled here by Alright, and it's a lot of work, and I've heard that it's not quite exactly finalized, and some things need to be changed, and there might even not even be correct. This is how quickly things change and evolve and whatever. But let's hear from Alright over here for a second. Alright, what do you want to say about the work that you're doing in this space here?
I just think it's awesome that you can spin up a blockchain in like 5 minutes. Like myself, I've spun up like thousands of them. So that kind of just blows my mind that it's that simple to do, and that like, so each of these parameters, like, it gives you like a lot of freedom to do what you want with your own chain. And like, so you could have like your own emission schedule. You could have there's certain like really unique ones, like AC perk, for example, like is like a taxation model. Like if you wanted to have like maybe a trusted party. I think Mylo might be able to give some more information or use cases for this. He had talked about it before. But if you wanted to have like some kind of tax on every transaction, you could send it to like a central party, and they would get money for each transaction made on the chain, for example. And then what I was saying earlier was that this document needs to be updated to reflect, there's 2 new ones. There's AC public and AC private. So by default, if you don't set either of those, ZK snarks and Z transactions are enabled on the chain. But if you set, say, AC public, that disables all Z transactions. And then if you set AC private, that means all transactions on the chain other than block rewards have to be Z transactions. So like there's no public transactions on the chain whatsoever. And I need to update this document to reflect that. But yeah, it just basically overall, like you can do pretty much anything using just these parameters, and you can spin up a blockchain in 10 minutes and have it running and start having people connect to it like immediately.
Okay, this is incredible. All right. You're saying this is a working document. You're just going through this, you're amending it as need be. Mm-hmm. But so far, you said how many? Like you said, thousands of blockchains that you just spun off.
Yeah, well, so in testing, I've tested like each combination of these, see if it works as intended, and if it doesn't, tell James, let him know like what I'm doing that's breaking it, and then he would fix it. But yeah, like I can't tell you how many of these that I've spun up and tested.
That's very cool.
Kind of like a mind-boggling number, yeah.
So this is gonna, you guys, you both see this going in the future of people just like randomly, me and everything, and for purposes, just making our own blockchains for doing stuff. We're going there, huh?
Yeah, no, we're already there.
Yeah.
If you want a blockchain, I'll show you what to do. There's a tutorial right there.
Nice.
Yeah, let's just slow down a bit because we've gone straight into tech talk. But
apologies.
I mean, there's a fork of Komodo called Verus, and the Verus coin has a feature coming out in their wallet that it can create blockchains automatically on demand, basically on demand chains for specific purposes. They're going to use it for polling, voting, things like that. Now that's various projects implementation of how they want to see the use of blockchains, and basically what this enables us to do. And we're still in tech land at the moment, but is to give every developer, every business, every person, even you can have interfamily blockchains for incentivizing. The whole name of this game is incentivization and innovation. And this is, we're lowering the barrier for people to get into blockchain development, blockchain business, blockchain everything. Now, this is all very command line driven stuff at the moment. And what we're also working on is a user-friendly sort of spin up your own model. Couple of clicks, boom, there's your nodes, point whatever you need to, and you customize it with all those parameters. So where Alright has been going through 1 parameter, 2 parameter, 3 parameter, 4 parameter, up to 6 parameters all at once in all these combinations. That's about 300 different combinations, I think. He's been testing them out and ready for anyone to come up with their own incentive, their own coin supply, their own inflation rate. There's many different economic models to muck around with. I'm not an economic master, and it's important that people with those skills have these tools in front of them so that they can innovate.
Yeah. What do you think, all right?
Yep, it just gives anybody the ability to create any blockchain they really need to. And with no real technical knowledge, you can spin up a blockchain and have it secured relatively easily. You don't need a whole dev team to fork some coin and change what you need. You just type 2 commands, point 2 servers at each other, and it starts your chain. And then you can have people connect to it immediately afterwards.
It's that easy. Yep. That's, so every block in Komodo, in the Komodo platform, is a fork. In the case of when you create your own blockchain, we call it a runtime fork, so that it's got the same tech as Komodo, and through these switches at the beginning, through your options, you customize a Komodo chain for your own self, your own mining, whether it's pre-mine, and then you've got an option to secure it to Bitcoin's hash rate, which is a feature of Komodo. So you're inheriting all of Komodo's features, and then you switch them on, switch them off, things that we don't use in the Komodo blockchain, but a blockchain developer may want something else. We've got these capabilities in the whole platform, and you can scale. You can cluster them together, and there's no limit. Basically, we're trying to find limits. We've hit the second time around about 40,000 transactions per second in a relatively small configuration, and we're working our way upwards so that if there is a blockchain developer with an app idea, they can get that scale. They also inherit atomic swap DEX capabilities, privacy, the security, all the pillars of Komodo. So you get it as well. Make it, you get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that really excites me too. Komodo, I love you guys. It's just that look at this work you're doing, and then where it's going. Really, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
These 5 pillars, and it's constantly moving it forward. Just having fun with it, experimenting, testing, and doing all kinds of stuff. And more people, just that environment of this exploration and movement is bringing more and more people who have a lot of skill and talent and just there's already a need for a self-drive and self-determination. Komodo doesn't really tell you what to do or whatever, that sort of a thing. It's like you got to do your thing, and then if it's worthwhile and working, then you keep going forward with it a little bit more. Anyhow, so people are just working on this stuff and at incredible rates, and the results that are happening are demonstrated. They're there, and wow, they speak for themselves. It's cool. It's very cool. You mentioned the coordination of things with I think you might have been talking about the federated multi-chain syncing, if I believe. Is that the right name? Something like that. Anyway, we're going down that road, eh?
Yeah. That's a name. It's a name of a technique for scaling, and just we haven't got a catchy marketing name for it yet. And we're working with an agency to get our identity for this next evolution out into the marketplace. Federated multi-chain syncing, it's a bit of a tongue twister, but
I like federated. Federated really is like this amalgamated thing, and that's what Komodo is. It's just this. It's just. I remember there was a graphic that was shared, and it was like this, maybe Node Azure. I don't know what it was, and then just. Oh, it was all the other stuff. It was all the stuff that they had been doing. It's all this stuff, the achievements that Komodo have made. It just keeps growing like this freaking thing. Hey, yeah, you guys see it. You guys see it. Cool.
Yeah, well, this is a question for All Right, actually. In your 4 months with the project, has there been I mean, you've obviously had maybe a couple of boring days while you're busy doing stuff, but have you ever been bored?
I don't think so, no. Like not a single day, maybe. There's constantly new things to test, new things to test with old things, for example. Like I love the job, like I really do, and I don't find it boring. Like I really don't. I mean, writing that example doc may be a little boring, but it was very satisfying to be done with it.
Man, yeah.
It's a big achievement. It's like the little things that are actually take a lot of your energy and effort and focus, but it moves things forward and is so vital and important to the ecosystem.
But no, like constantly new tech to test. And then making sure it works with old features and or older features, and no, I love it. I don't find it very boring at all.
Yeah, it's a type of environment and project and stuff where it's a pleasure to go from wherever you are to then come into this environment, landscape, potential, and it unlocks all that old school creativity that was around in computing 15, 20 years ago. And then it seems though we went through a lull of all this controlled innovation. And then all of a sudden we've hit this a time of a lot of cross-disciplinary things coming together and the potential for everyone to collaborate. And what you said, Giuliano, before about self-determination, that's an interesting word to explore. If we were to have a conversation about that at an individual level or a small community level or a group level, it gives a lot of people a lot of freedom to think about how they want to do things. Achieve their own goals, and it's a very positive, empowering feeling, and it's great to be a part of. I'm sure All Right shares that as well. That document, we use it internally as well. How to make different blockchains, and without that, we'd still be just a tech project. It's the start of, it was an amazing effort, all right. I don't know how many times you've been congratulated, but for a verbal congratulations, thank you very much, because it just opens up a lot of options for us to tell people what they've got available to them. So thanks.
Yeah, I would have to second that, and to you, all right, and to also everybody who's pushing everything forward there. Big ups to all of you by no name. It's just incredible, and so I and the world appreciate it. The world who don't know what's coming, we all appreciate it in the future. It's all good. Yeah. So all right. Is there anything else going on that you want to share with us or talk with us about that you're working on these days?
So Komodo is implementing something called crypto conditions right now, which is basically smart contracts, interoperability between different asset chains. And so yesterday, for the first time, I was testing a feature called tokens, to where like you can create, instead of an asset chain, you could create tokens on your own asset chain or on the Komodo chain. Something similar to like colored coins, to where this is the 1 day of testing so far, but I think it's very awesome. Like you can have, say you have your own chain, you can have 5 different tokens on that one chain, and then there's also like an on-chain DEX for that, along with like swapping, and you can send them to someone else, and like you can create your own with even easier than creating an asset chain. All it is sending a transaction on the blockchain, and then you have your token and you can send it to people. You don't need 2 servers pointing at each other, but like you can do this on your own asset chain also, to have multiple different colored coins on the asset chain. And I think I spent my whole day testing it yesterday, and I think it's very awesome. It gives you a whole nother set of options, and it will just continually get new features like that. There's no limits to what these asset chains can do and what you can do on them. Basically, is that we'll just continually to innovate, and I think it's very exciting.
Seems like they're so multi-dimensional that you could there's just so much going on in there. It's like, oh man, the folds, they're all interfolded, so it creates more surface area to do stuff on, and then at all these different levels. Pretty cool.
Yeah, nice way to put it.
Yeah, go on.
With the asset chains, which is your own private blockchain, you're not limited to proof of work, consensus as well. So if you have a model where, Komodo itself is proof of work, secured in Bitcoin's hash rate with delayed proof of work. But if your own project doesn't require any mining, or has a slightly different emission or incentive model or something, you can go for a proof of stake model, which we don't use within Komodo, but we offer that to your project if you want it. So that's also another unique feature, really. If you have a sub project or something related that doesn't need the same mechanisms, there you go, start it and then swap between them. And then, as All Right was saying, tokenization of aspects of life, whether it's by utility or through other forms of security and dividends and things like that. That's what the token model is there on top of the blockchain. Your own way of running your own world how you want, or your own little microcosm. Yeah, so
I can't even imagine how it just changed the way that it changes human interactions. I mean, we think about it different technologies that will just change the way humans can interact with each other, the speed at which they can do it, the proximity or approximation that we can, like now we're very approximated with seeing each other on video and having this real-time chat versus like writing a letter and sending it in, a month later, receiving it back. You know how it goes. So now with this kind of thing, holy moly, you can only just not even fathom. We can see glimpses.
But it's new stuff. That's right. We can see glimpses. It's new stuff. It's as Antonopoulos says, it's programmable money. And as one of the reps from the Dash community said earlier this month at a conference, was that the technology of money hasn't been innovated for hundreds of years, and now I was never interested in money beforehand, but it is a tool. If you look at it as a tool, and we all share these tools, and we all improve our lives through this this concept of having value and things that we all wish to do or wish to strive for, then it gives us a reason to do something so that we can enjoy some other part of life. That's just one aspect of it. If it's,
nice. Mylo,
it's not my expertise, but
that's nice.
Yeah.
And Mylo, I just want to offer. We're going to end in a couple of minutes here. I just want recording is going to finish. So I just want to offer Alright an opportunity to say any last things that either you're working on, you want to tell us about, or just share any sentiments that you care to share with us at this time.
Just to touch back on the proof of stake model you mentioned. I just wanted to mention that you can do a mixed proof of stake, proof of work chain, to where like you could have 50-50, or you could have 90-10. 90% proof of stake, 90 or 10% proof of work, something like that. Like, I just can't emphasize enough like how much you can customize these blockchains to do what you want for whatever purpose you might need. I can't, or I'm more about the tech than the ideology part of it. Like, or not. I'm very ideological, as in like this gives you freedom to do what you want. But other than that, like I can't touch on anything other than tech, really. I don't know.
Yeah, we're all learning these new things.
The tech is so cool. It's great. Okay.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, me too.
Every day.
Mylo, awesome. So good.
Yeah.
Thank you, man, for this, for bringing us together here for this. And Alright, so much pleasure with you today. Thank you. And very much thank you for
Thanks for having me.
Just coming on and sharing freely with us. That's awesome. And guys, I'm just going to stop the recording now. So we're going to say bye to everyone. And until the next time, thanks for watching. Awesome.
Goodbye. Nice talk.
Okay.